So we have different types of prompts. Generally, prompts are nothing but passing a value. It's similar to parameters in Tableau. So basically, this is one of the important concepts in microstrategy. So we have different types of prompts here. So let me create a new folder. So we have filter definition prompt, object prompt, value prompt, and level prompt. So let me explain each and every point. So we have filter prompt, filter or filter definition prompt, object, value prompt, and level prompt. So as I said, prompts are nothing but it's a kind of a functionality where we can pass a value before execution of the report. Okay. So let me showcase one example here. So we have prompts, and let's say we have filter. Like let's go for filter definition prompt. So we have seen filters, right? We have seen different types of filters, and we applied filter for the reports. Importantly, we have seen report filter and report filter or like view filter. Yeah. So, but that particular concept, like whatever the filter we have seen is, before execution, right? We are going to create a filter and we are going to use that particular report filter in the report. Or after execution, we have a flexibility to apply the view filter. But prompt, when it comes like report definition prompt. So let me create a simple prompt here. It's actually simple. If we are good in filters and metrics, then prompts are very simple. So let me go for the first option. So I'm not going for all the attributes in a hierarchy. Let me showcase the best example here. So choose from an attribute element list. So this is one of the best example where we can select attribute related elements. So I'm choosing an attribute. Let's say I'm going to choose region. Click next. So you have an option to go for all the elements, or if you want to still, if you want to select few of the elements, yes, you have an option to go for predefined list of elements. But I will showcase that. So, but I will go for all the elements in the attribute. So let me go for next. So prompt answer required. We have to select if it is mandatory. If you want to use, if you want to select like the prompt answer mandatory, you have to select the specific option, prompt answer required. But for now, I'm not going to select this. So let's click on next and click finish. Elements of region. This is just an example, okay? So I just want to showcase the functionality of prompts. So let's go back to reports. One second. So let's take we have region. So let me use region as well. Let's say I have region, and you can make use of sales metrics, profit. So before execution, what I'm going to do is, so let's go for prompt. So we know that we can apply a local filter or report filter. We have done that. Let's go back to prompts. So in the new folder, So we have elements of region. Okay, so where we can place this particular prompt. If it is a filter definition prompt, yes, we can place in the local filter or whatever the report filter we have seen, right? Or right click, you have an option to go for add to report filter. Okay, just add to report filter here. So elements of region. So before, I'm not going to execute, let me save and close and re-execute so that you'll know the functionality of a prompt. Let's say region filter prompt. This is the report, region filter prompt. Let me execute this, double click. So whenever we are going to execute the report, if it is a prompted report, so what is happening here is, so we are getting an option to select those elements. Okay, so we can select the elements. We don't have any restriction for now. Let's say I want to go for south related information. You can select from south, southeast, and southwest. Just select those elements. Okay, and you have an option to click on next, or straight away you can click on finish. Click next, click finish. So what happened is, before execution, users have an option to select whatever the region they want to select. They can choose those regions. So that's what the one of the best functionality in MicroStrategy by using prompts. So before execution, we can select few of the elements, or something like we can filter out. We can filter out some part of data. We can select and we can apply those filter condition whenever we are going to execute the report. It's not static filter where we have seen we are using south, southeast, and southwest, right? Let me save and close this report. Whenever you are going to save this report, we have a couple of options to go for whether it is static or you can go for a prompted report. So I'm going for a prompted report because we are using prompt. So whenever you are going to use prompted report, so you have a couple of options here. We have three options, but importantly, you can see here only filter will be prompted or only template will be prompted. Okay. If you have a filter definition prompt, yes, you can choose filter will be prompted. Yes, we have different prompts as well as we seen, like we have a value prompt or a level prompt or object prompt, right? In that case, we are going to use a few of the prompts in the template. Sorry. Okay, so for now we don't have any like objects which are present in the attributes or a matrix. We can choose only filter will be prompted, but I can suggest is like the third option. So filter and template will be prompted. So this is the best option where if you have any prompt in filters or template, then we can go for this third option. Okay, so
What is
better you
template?
can, template is like report template. This is what template, right? Report
Okay.
template.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to choose the current prompt answers as a default, you can select or you can unselect. Remember the options for the next time. It's up to you. Like better you can unselect, where every time we can select those elements. So let me showcase that. So let's click OK. So now I do have this particular report. So we just executed this report and we have chosen south related information, correct? South, southeast, and southwest. Now I'm going to execute one more time the same report. Let's execute the same. Now I don't have those selections, right? So again, I have to do the same selection. Same in the sense it's up to you, like up to the user's requirement. So let's say now I want to go for northeast and northwest. Okay. Now I can select northeast and northwest as a filter condition and click on next and click on finish, so that I'm going to get only north related information. So this what one of the advantage with prompts, where it's not a static filter. It is kind of a dynamic filter functionality. If someone says like, I want to have a dynamic filter functionality when it comes like reporting perspective, so that means the concept is called as prompt. So let me save and close and rerun the report, or sorry. So before going for the prompted, this particular option, So if you want to save the current prompt answers to be a default prompt answer, every time, let's say if you want every time the default selection is northeast and northwest, then you can make use of this specific option. Okay, so let's click OK. I'm choosing the
So
same.
anytime when you are saving, we will get that window where you can make it as static or prompt or every
Yeah,
time.
that's very important actually. So that's the only problem with, not the problem. I'm going to showcase that. I will say where we have to be aware whenever we are going to save the report. So now I got the same selection. So I got the same selection, and if you want to remove those selected elements, you can remove. If you want to save the default prompt answer, you have that option, default prompt option. Click on finish. So whenever we are going to save the report, yeah, let's save. Whenever we are going to save the report, better you have to choose this prompted one. Okay. If you are, let's say, in few cases, right, in MicroStrategy, it's very tough if you are going to save as a static, and if you want to identify whether we have a prompt or not in the report, it's very tough. So let's say I'm using a prompt. Okay. So I'm using a filter definition prompt. But what you have done is, unfortunately, like you have selected this report as a static report. Okay. Now, right click on this particular report, go for search for components. You don't find any prompt here because I made that particular report as a static filter, correct? And when you execute this report, you are going to get only those selected regions. That's what south, southeast, and southwest. That is what you can see in the report filter. So this particular region and list is become as it's a static filter. It convert into a static filter. It's not a prompt. That's what the problem. So then you are it's not possible to identify what prompt is used initially in this particular report. Okay, this is
Okay.
one important when it comes like MicroStrategy point of view. Whenever you are going to save a report, better you can uh, if it is an important report in production, anyhow we do have different environments to get those like uh, we can get those objects related to that reports. The best practice is like better if you have a prompt, you can go for search for components and just look into those path and the naming convention of the prompt. Because if sometimes whenever you're going to save the report, if it is saved as a static report, then it's tough to identify what prompt we have used in the report. So that's what the prompt functionality by making use of filter. But let me go for the first option we do have in prompts. That's what one simple option I will tell you is like when it comes to like filter definition prompt. Okay, so we have for attributes we have three ways to go for the filter definition prompt. So one is hierarchy, one is qualification from all attributes in a hierarchy. So in that case you can just remember hierarchy, qualification on attribute, qualification on or more like condition on top of attribute element list. Okay, so we have hierarchies, attributes, attribute element list. So what I'm going to do is let just create a report. Okay, so just create a new report. I will tell you the order actually, so we can remember these types of it's very simple, but still I just want to showcase one simple example. So in prompts we are getting hierarchies, right? The first option you can select from all attributes from the hierarchies. So first, whenever you create a report or in the report editor, you can see hierarchies, right? The first thing is you can see hierarchy in the object browser. Then when you double click, you can able to see attribute. When you double click on any attribute, you can see attribute element list. This is what attribute elements. Okay. So when you go up, it is attributes. When you go up, we are going to get hierarchies. Got the point, right? So similarly, we do have in the prompts, we do have qualification on attributes in a hierarchy or on top of an attribute or on top of attribute element list. So go back to attributes in a hierarchy. So I'm going to choose any hierarchy. So if you want to choose a hierarchy, you can choose a hierarchy, or no restrictions. You can see list all hierarchies, whatever the hierarchies we do have in the project. You can choose any of the attributes from that particular hierarchy. So I'm going for the list of all hierarchies, no restrictions. Or if you want to choose a predefined list of hierarchies, let's say I want to apply only condition on top of products and time related hierarchy and geographical related hierarchy. So I don't want to consider customer and this test hierarchy. In that case, you can choose the list of hierarchies. Anything is fine. Okay. So, but what I'm going to do is now I'm going to go for, I'm going for all the list of hierarchies, no restrictions. I can choose any of the attribute from those hierarchies. So now I'm going to use prompt answer required. So I'm going to showcase the differentiation. So click next, click on finish, list of all hierarchies. Now I do have list of all hierarchies. I can go for the same report here, region filter. I do have region profit. Okay, so let's say if you want, still you can add few of the attributes. Let's say I'm going for category, region, category, and year. Okay, go back to public objects, prompts. So list of all hierarchies, you can just drag and drop into report filter. So let's execute, or as I said, right, you can execute straight away from here, or you can save and execute just to know the functionality of the prompt. So now what you're getting is, so we're getting all the hierarchies. Again, it's kind of a developer where you can do some, you need to create a filter. You can see, double click here to qualification, to add a qualification, double click. So what hierarchy, what attribute you wants to add. So again, you have to browse. Let's go for year, in list, and let's say I want to go for 2015. Click OK. It's again a kind of a development work for the users perspective. Click on finish. So now I'm able to see only 2015 data, correct?
Yeah.
That's what we selected. So before going to save the report, I just want to showcase one more option. No need to save and close and re-execute to apply other filter condition. Okay, now I can see 2015 data, correct? Now I just want to apply the filter condition on top of here, like for 2014. Okay, so you have this option, you can see reprompt report.
Yeah.
So just click on this reprompt. Again, you can double click if you want to change the filter condition. Let's modify, remove this. You can go for 2016. Okay, so this is what reprompt. So it's the same filter condition, or it's the same report filter for whatever the report filter definition or report filter prompt which we are using, but it's dynamic. Dynamic in the sense, before execution, we can pass a particular value. Okay, and we have some restrictions as well, so I'm going to showcase that. But this is what one of the best functionality where no need to create multiple reports for different filter criteria. So we can simply provide a option called as prompt where a user can select any particular filter. So let's say now we have applied condition on top of here. I can also apply one more condition. You can see, double click here to add a qualification. So now I can say like geography. So I can drag and drop region here, click on add, and I will go for south related information. Okay, so now you can apply only south related information here. Click OK. So it's for 2016 and south. Click finish. Okay, so I'm getting region south, category books, electronics, movies, and music. We don't have any filter condition on top of category, and you can see year is 2016. Clear?
Yeah.
And it's same, like it's the same, like it impacts in where clause of this equal. So you can see, just scroll down here, you can see a couple of filters. Year ID in 2016 and region ID in 5. That is what South. So this is what hierarchical, but all attributes in a hierarchy, right? So let me reprompt once again. So as you know, like you have an exclamatory mark here. Okay, so let's just look into this exclamatory mark. What I'm going to do is I can remove this filter. Okay, so we have prompt, we have a functionality called as prompt. We are using prompt in the report, but is that mandatory? So let's see. So I didn't have any filter condition. Okay, so let's click on next and click on finish. So before going for finish, prompt not answered, and you can see required, it is mandatory. Okay, so let's click on finish. So what is happening is, like, this is a required prompt, please answer the prompt before continuing. Okay, so that means you need to select at least let's say you need to apply at least one simple condition, one qualification. So that is what required prompt or mandatory prompt. Okay, so let me save and close. So let's say go for prompted one. Let's remove these two. Click OK. It's a prompted report, but go back to prompts. Let's edit this list of hierarchies. Okay, list of hierarchies. So now click next. We have this prompt answer required, right? So let's unselect this. Okay, so don't make use of mandatory prompt. Now go back to reports. Let's execute this region filter prompt report. So now I got the same editor where you can apply the filter condition on top of any particular attribute from all these hierarchies. Okay, so let's click on finish. I don't have any filter condition here. I didn't apply any filter condition. Straight away I executed this report. Okay, the thing is, if it is not mandatory, if the prompt is not mandatory, you can execute the report straight away. But how it helps, let's say why mandatory prompts helps a lot, in the sense, let's say if you have huge number of records, let's say if you have 10 millions of records or more than uh, like more number of records. Okay, so if it is taking more time, or I just want to limit those number of records, what we can do is, the best functionality is like you can go for a prompted report. Okay, you can go for a prompted report. We can restrict the user. That's what the point. So let's go for list of hierarchies. Anyhow, we are going for the list of all the hierarchies. Yes, that's okay. Go for next. So now you can go for prompt answer required. For sure, you have to select at least one condition. Okay, and you can see this minimum number of qualifications and maximum number of qualifications. So this is also important, but as I said, like it's not mandatory. But if you want to restrict the user to go for only like couple of conditions, okay, so minimum is one, I can go for maximum is two qualifications. If you are going to apply more than two conditions, I don't want to allow that particular condition. Okay, so I'm just using minimum number of qualifications and maximum number of qualifications. Okay, maximum is two. So now this is a mandatory prompt. Now I need to apply at least one condition. Maximum I can go for two. So let's apply more than two and let's see. Let's execute region filter prompt report. Now it's a mandatory prompt. Double click, or if you want, you can straight away use hierarchies and drag and drop region straight away into this particular pane. where you can apply that filter condition. So let's say I'm going for south. This is simple. Now let's say I want to use same uh, products category, and this is also one simple option. Instead of drag and drop category, right, what you want to select, double click, you are going to get these elements. Let's say I want to select music. Straight away we can drag and drop music. You can see category in list music. This is a shortcut. No need to add those elements, all these things. It's a waste of time, correct? So this is more flexible. So now let's go for time hierarchy, year. Now I will drop 2016. Pretty simple, right? So have south, category music, year 2016. Click next, click on finish. Now you can see I'm getting a like message where you have created more qualifications than the maximum allowed for this prompt. Okay, please remove one or more qualifications. You can see here clearly minimum qualifications, you're getting this message 1, and maximum qualifications allowed is 2. Correct? But that is what we have done. Like we applied, we created more number of conditions than the allowed one. That is what 2. So let me delete one qualification. That is what year end list 2016. Let's click on finish. Okay, so now I do have south and the category music. Okay, these two are the filter conditions which we have applied. Clear? So the option is where you can create a filter prompt. The point is like if you want to choose attributes from the list of hierarchies, no restrictions, or if you want to go for few of the hierarchies, let's say if you have lots of hierarchies, in few cases, right, you might find 10 plus hierarchies in your project, and it is not required to select all the hierarchies. Okay, then what you can do is you can choose those list of hierarchies. You can skip unwanted hierarchies. Or if you feel like hierarchies is hierarchical looks pretty complex because I need to identify those attributes, correct? So if I'm not aware of all those attributes which are coming from the hierarchies, if I'm not aware of those hierarchies names properly, then it will be tough. What we can do is most of the cases, like not most of the cases, generally we are aware of attributes, right? So better we can choose attributes. Okay, better we can choose okay, so qualification on top of attribute. So that's one option where we can go for qualification of attribute. So let's click on next. So now choose an attribute, or you can use predefined list of attributes. So choose an attribute shows you can go for only one single attribute. Okay, so but if you want to go for if you want to go for if you want to go for multiple or predefined list of attributes, so let's select predefined list of attributes, click on add. Okay, and we do have like let's say whatever the regular attributes we are using, right? So I'm going to choose region, and let's say call center, and go for products category, subcategory, let's say time, year. Okay, okay, these are all the frequently used attributes in general. Okay, let's say if you want to add more number of attributes, yes, you can add more number of attributes, no restrictions, as I say. So you can add multiple attributes here. Okay, that's what predefined list of attributes. If you can choose one attribute, or if you want to list predefined list of attributes, that's an advantage, as I said, right? So here we don't have an option called as choose all attributes. Okay, for hierarchies we have an option to go for choose all the hierarchies, no restrictions, list of all hierarchies. But here we can go for predefined list of attributes, and you can choose the attributes, the required attributes. Okay, so click next. So prompt answer required, and the same minimum maximum qualification. If you want, you can restrict that for a user perspective. So click on finish. So I can name it as a list of attributes. Okay, I do have this list of attributes prompt. So let's go back to the same report, region filter. Okay, edit. So let me remove this. Okay, let's remove this. So now go back to public objects, prompts. So let's say, sorry. So we have list of attributes. Initially, we have gone through list of hierarchies. Here we don't have any restrictions. Okay, so here we have list of attributes. Just drag and drop into filter. Let's execute. Or if you want, you can save and close and rerun the report. So region filter prompt, let's execute this. Now you can see we are getting those, we are getting a simple drop down, but you can see it's not a browse option. You're getting a drop down. Okay. So in the list of attributes where you can select that specific attribute, because we restricted attributes in the predefined list when it comes to like the prompt. So these are all the available attributes in this particular prompt. And let's say I want to select a subcategory here. Now you need to do the same thing. So again, you need to select few of the elements, subcategory elements. So, or let me modify once again. So let's say I will select few of the elements from different categories. Click OK. And you can see minimum qualification, maximum qualification, it's not set, correct? So you don't have any restriction, but you have to go for the prompt, like it's mandatory. So when you click on next, attribute qualification required, you can see this is mandatory prompt. If it is not mandatory, you don't get this exclamation, and you're not going to get this particular required option. So click finish. Okay. So, but we don't have subcategory in our report. Let me drop this year and region from the report. I do have subcategory, and let's use subcategory just to verify the elements. Okay. So whether we are getting proper data or not. Anyhow, we can check that particular condition in the filters, like here. Okay. So clear. So this is what list of attributes, or you can go for predefined list of attributes, and you can choose any number of attributes. You don't have, still you can select more number of attributes, no restriction in the predefined list of attributes option. Okay, you can choose list of hierarchies, you can choose list of attributes, and you can also go for predefined list of elements. So the whatever the first option we have seen, right? Let's go back to elements of a region. This is more flexible for the user. Okay, so let's say I select a region, and no restriction, right? All the elements in the region. Click on next, and you can also see, like, let's say if you want to go for a few of the elements, it depends, but I can suggest is like list of all elements, because let's say if there are if there are new regions comes up in the future, okay, then again we need to add manually. That's the point. So better you can choose all the list of elements from that particular attribute. So prompt answer, this is one more option you can see for the list of attribute elements, minimum number of answers and maximum number of answers. Okay, answers in the sense whatever you are going to select. So let's say I'm going to restrict minimum number of answers is 1 and maximum is also 1. So I don't want to go for beyond one selection at a time. Okay, this is one simple option where you can restrict the user to not select more than one element. Okay, minimum number of answers, maximum number of answers. Click next, click finish. Elements of region. Okay, so let's go for reports. I'm going to use the same report here. Go back to public objects, prompts, elements of region. Let me save and close and execute. Okay. So now we have minimum number of elements and maximum number of elements. Okay, let me select south, southeast, southwest. Let's click next and click on finish. I can see it's not allowing. You have selected more elements than the maximum allowed for this particular prompt. So let's remove all. Let's select one, click on finish. That's it. Let's say if you have 4 years of data or 10 years of data, if you want to restrict the user to select only one particular year at a time, okay, then this is the best functionality where you can go for single selection or single value. If you want to pass a single value at a time, then this is the best option where you can go for attribute element list. You can pass attribute elements and you can restrict this particular function like elements to go for selection. So let's say I want to select central, you can select central data. So click finish. So if you want to verify, go back to SQL view, central and maybe one, it seems, not sure, region ID 4. Okay. Clear?
Yes, Manish.
Yeah. So this is what qualification or filter definition prompt. So we have we can choose all the hierarchy like attributes from all hierarchies, or we can choose attributes for the filter condition, or we can also go for attribute element list. So this is similar to attribute qualification, and we have a qualification on metric. So where we can choose a metric. So this is also very simple. Let me complete this. Then maybe in the next class, we'll discuss object prompt and all other prompts. So qualification on metric is simple, similar to whatever we have seen in set qualification, metric qualification. If you want to choose multiple metrics, yes, you can choose multiple metrics, or you can choose a specific metrics. Let's say I have profit. So click on next. Prompt answer. If it is mandatory, you can select prompt answer required. Click on finish. So I just created a prompt on top of profit. So let me use the same report here.
So always we have to create prompts separately and then put it in the filter and report.
It's similar to filter. If you want to apply a filter, right, we are going to create a individual or separate
Yeah, but
filter,
we
right?
also
Similar to,
have an option to do a local filter like that. We don't have prompts.
yes, we have that particular functionality. I'm going to showcase that. That's a good question. Yes. So let's double click on this. Let's say attribute qualification. So this is a filter, right? So if it is a filter definition prompt, uh, go back to filter. It's a report. It's a local filter, as you know. I just selected year. You have an option to go for add, but just click on this ID form. You are getting a prompt option. Okay, this one.
Okay.
So you can select. You can pass a value. Similarly, you have an option to go for value prompt. So that's what I'm going to showcase this particular example when it comes like value prompts. That's a very good question. But generally for attribute qualification or metric qualification, yes, we do. We can also apply straight away in the filters. Similarly, whatever we have the local filter. But yeah, I will showcase that in the value prompt. Okay.
Okay.
But it's mandatory. Like we have to place few of the prompts in filters and few of the prompts in metrics. So you'll get more clarity on value prompt and level prompt. So now I do have qualification on profit. As you know, like let me remove this category. Let's execute the report. So now if you want to apply the condition, as you know, we have metric value, rank and percent. So let's go for metric value. So let's say greater than 1 lakh. So I'm just using greater than 1 lakh. Click OK. Profit greater than 1 lakh. Let's execute. So we are not getting the data because we don't have data across. We don't have 1 lakh profit value based on this particular levels. Okay, category wise, region wise, subcategory wise, year wise profit. Okay, that's the problem we are facing. Let's edit the report. Still, if you want, you can choose the same, but let me remove few of the attributes. Let's say I'm just removing these two. Let's execute. Okay, same filter condition. Now I'm getting these records. So these are all the records with profit greater than 1 lakh. Okay, because of the level of granularity, which when you use any other particular attribute, right? So it will aggregate based on that particular level. So that's the reason. You can also change the filter criteria. That's not an issue. So let's re-prompt, double click. And if you want to choose profit less than 1 lakh, click OK, click on finish. So we are going to get profit value less than 1 lakh. It's simple. Like you can use rank and all those functionality. It's similar to set qualification or a metric qualification. Okay. So this is what filter definition prompt. So where you can choose hierarchies, attributes, attribute elements, and we do have set qualification. That's what we can also apply. We can also apply condition on top of metrics. Okay. So in the next class, we'll start with object prompt. Object prompt is one of the important concept in MicroStrategy. Object prompt is whatever the prompt, like let's say if we are going to use object prompt, generally we can change the definition of the report. That is very important. So we do called as ad hoc reports. We can create ad hoc reports by making use of object prompts. So we'll discuss this in the next class. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, can you send me this
Yeah.
video
Sure.
so I can go through one more time and practice?
Yeah. Sure. I will do that.